Hey guys, Anton the Tech Chap, and I've had my PS5 for, well, a little over a year now actually. I'm definitely one of the lucky ones, but I do play this pretty much every day. And while the basic, out-of-the-box PS5 experience has been great, it felt about time to give my setup a bit of a refresh, with new color controllers, extra storage, better sound, plenty of accessories, and also some funky new lighting that changes dynamically with my game. So after a few days of testing, I've put together my top picks for the best extras and accessories to give you the ultimate PS5 experience. Okay, so let's start with a fix for arguably the PS5's biggest weakness. Its internal storage may be fast, but it fills up even quicker. Luckily though, it is easy to add extra storage now, either by installing a fast PCIe 4 SSD in the internal expansion slot, or by plugging in an external SSD via USB to store your PS4 games. Now, an internal drive is the pricier option, as only very fast PCIe 4 SSDs are recommended, and also you'll need to budget for a heatsink if it doesn't have one in the box. But native PS5 games can only be installed on internal drives, so this is the most future-proofed option. And so I think adding a 1TB drive is the best balance of price versus useful extra space, because once you go up to 2 and 4 terabytes, prices start to get a bit scary. It is easy to install though. Just pop off the side panel, unscrew the slot cover, move the mounting position, drop in the drive, and then put it back together and format it. Now, external SSD drives are a lot cheaper, but you can't install and run native PS5 games. You can only back up PS5 games, which itself may be an advantage if you have slow internet. It might be quicker to transfer it from your SSD rather than downloading a 100 gig game again, but realistically, it's going to be for storing your older PS4 games, which you can play off it. Oh, okay. If you're playing, say, in your bedroom, or you've got young children, or a wife who doesn't particularly want to hear you play Uncharted and Nathan Drake go every 30 seconds when he jumps around, maybe invest in one of these. A good pair of gaming headphones is kind of a must-have, particularly if you don't really have a good sound system, but also because the PS5 has 3D audio tech, which lets you accurately hear directional sounds in a kind of virtual 3D space. So these are Sony's Pulse 3D headphones. They match the aesthetic of the PlayStation, they sound pretty good, and they're not ridiculously expensive. They do lack some adjustability though, and they're not as well made as some alternatives. But luckily, as the 3D audio processing is done by the console, you can actually go with your choice of wireless headset and still get the effect. For example, the SteelSeries Arctis 7P is a fantastic alternative, also designed to match the PS5. It's better built, has a more premium microphone, and plenty of adjustability. And personally, I think it looks better. Alternatively, a decent soundbar will make a big difference. I'm actually using the Sonos Arc with this. I've got it on the floor right now, which I wouldn't really recommend. But the thing is, the PS5 can actually tune that 3D audio to your soundbar as well. You use the controller, and it then picks up the microphone and the speaker on this to detect where you're sitting, and it bounces the audio off the room, and then tunes the sound accordingly. So it's pretty clever, and I would highly recommend either a good pair of headphones or some kind of speaker setup over your definitely rubbish inbuilt TV speakers. But what about the console itself? Well, I think any ultimate PS5 setup should look exactly like you want it to, whether you make it a feature on display or just blend it in with the background. And this is where the new console covers come in. So these are Sony's official, and also officially overpriced for a bit of plastic, replacement cover side panels, which come in 5 new flavors around a Galaxy Nebula theme. Honestly, I think they all look great, but I went with the red one, although I am tempted by a stealthy black look. But what about you? Which would you pick? There are lots of third-party options, and you can always DIY paint it yourself if you want to, but these Sony panels are the best if you want to keep things all official. Although annoyingly, you can't actually buy a new PS5 with one of these covers pre-installed. You have to buy it separately and put it on yourself. It is really easy to switch covers though. You just pull the top front corner towards you and then push along from the base, and they should easily pop off, and then you can click them back into place when you're done. And then once you've got your fancy new covers installed, really the next job is to get inventive with reusing your spare covers. Now, to accompany your stylish new console, I think it's only right that you pair it with their corresponding DualSense controller. They come in the same 5 colors as the covers. However, if you do want something fully custom, then you can always check out AIM Controller's custom pads, which take a regular DualSense and then let you add custom thumbsticks, textures, designs, and even custom buttons. Whichever color you go for though, I am a big fan of the DualSense for the haptics and resistive triggers, which really do make a difference and convince me to pick up a PS5 rather than an Xbox controller 90% of the time. Maybe I actually like the blue more. Oh no. Speaking of the controllers though, and it's always a good idea to have a second controller on charge if you're in the middle of a game or someone wants to jump in with you. And while you can just use the bundled short USB-C cable, using that while you're playing isn't ideal. And so this DualSense charging station makes things a little bit easier and also a little bit smarter looking because you can, well, keep the cables hidden away at the back. Although, shouldn't that be called the DualSense charging station, as you've got two DualSense controllers on it? Just drop a controller in, listen for the click, and it's charging. And since it has its own plug, which frees up a USB port on the PS5, it also allows you to position it away from your console and maybe even out of sight. Again, there are some good third-party options out there which are a little bit cheaper, but the build quality of the official charger, along with lots of positive reviews, make it my pick overall. Now, just a quick mention of today's lovely sponsor, the 360 Robot Vacuum Cleaner S8, which is actually my new best friend. I mean it, when was the last time your actual human best friend came over to vacuum and mop your floors? With its ultra-precise LiDAR SLAM navigation system and intelligent obstacle avoidance, the S8 maps your room in 3D and then works out the quickest and most efficient path for easy and zero-fuss cleaning. And with multi-floor mapping, it can actually save 5 floors or different room layouts for quicker cleans. But for me, the S8's best trick is being able to vacuum and mop hard floors at the same time. And if it detects carpet, it automatically boosts suction for powerful deep cleaning. And with edge cleaning, it can get close up to walls and even under furniture thanks to that low-profile design. Battery life is up to 140 minutes, so the S8 can clean up to 140 square meters on a single charge. You can even control it with your voice. And with the 360 Robot app, you can schedule cleans, check progress, even if you're away from home. So check out my link in the description below and perhaps give the 360 Robot Vacuum Cleaner S8 a try in your home. Now you may have noticed throughout this video, as I'm messing around with the console, that the lighting behind the TV actually matches what's on screen. And that is thanks to this guy, which is possibly the most boring looking box you've ever seen. It's a Philips Hue HDMI sync box. And all you have to do is plug your PS5's HDMI into this, and then the bundled HDMI into your TV, and the sync box acts as a pass-through, analyzing the image and then making your Hue lighting reflect the in-game colors and effects. And it really isn't a gimmick. I love the extra immersion, and it'll also work if you use the PS5 for streaming TV and movies, or in fact any other HDMI input. Downsides? Well, it is very expensive. It's over 200 quid actually, and that isn't even including any of the Philips Hue lights. Currently I've got 2 Hue Play stuck to the back of the TV, also a Hue sign, although I don't think I'll keep that there. I think maybe the gradient strip would be the best, most sort of even color option. And you can also sync up any other lights around as well. You create an entertainment area, and so you can have sort of lights flashing in your peripheral vision. And through the app, you can reduce the intensity so it's a lot more subtle and you don't really notice it. But it is expensive, doesn't include the lights, which are also very expensive. And there is a slight technical limitation because the box itself is only using HDMI 2 ports. Although a recent update actually lets you use this at 1440p 120 or the usual 4K 60, but not 4K 120, which you might want for your fancy 4K 120 TV. So until we see a full HDMI 2.1 sync box, which I guess would be even more expensive, there is a small limitation, but I don't think it's a deal breaker, and it really does add a lot to the experience. As an alternative, GoV's Flow Pro and immersion systems are a much more affordable way to get a similar effect. This comes bundled with either light bars or a light strip and gets around the HDMI issue by using a TV-mounted camera instead, which watches what's on screen and then dynamically matches the lighting. It's a bit ugly, but it does work. Okay, moving on. And if you use your PS5 as a bit of a home media hub, then it may be worth picking up the Sony Media Remote. I've been buying these somewhat foolishly, I think, since the PS2 with its media remote, and I honestly don't use it that much. I tend to just have this in my hand and I use this instead, but it might be worth grabbing this for its PS button for switching the console on, and also the dedicated streaming service buttons. Oh hello, it's me, Cammy. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Tech Chat. Thank you. Cami? Wouldn't Cam have just made more sense? Anyway, this is the PS5 HD camera, which is a good option for mounting on top of your TV. You've got this built-in stand, and you can adjust the lens as well. For streaming, for recording yourself while gaming, it's 1080p, and because we have dual lenses, you get a really smart background remover tool, so it's actually easier to superimpose yourself onto your gameplay, which you can be recording on the PS5, and you've got yourself a nice little streaming setup. And if you're pretty fired up for Gran Turismo 7, then something like a Logitech G923 or G29 racing wheel might be worth a look. They're both great options. What about PlayStation Plus and PS Now, the extra subscription options? Are they worth it? Well, PS Now gives you access to a back catalogue of PS2, PS3, and PS4 games, whereas PS Plus lets you play online multiplayer, which is pretty important, and also gives you 2 to 3 games each month to play. They're essentially yours to keep as long as you're paying for the subscription. So I think PlayStation Plus is definitely worth paying for. It just would be nice if they did combine it with PS Now. Sony really do have some catching up to do to Xbox's incredible Game Pass. Although, and a pinch of salt required, according to some reports, Project Spartacus is Sony's Game Pass rivaling service that supposedly will combine PS Plus and PS Now. And then finally, we have the upcoming PSVR 2, which has actually got me really excited for VR all over again. And it's not just the impressive specs of the headset, but it's knowing that it's the PS5 powering everything, and that hopefully Sony is pushing its network of fantastic developers to produce some quality VR games. And this could end up being the best gaming VR experience. The truth is though, it's not all about spending money. The ultimate PS5 experience may just be loading up one of your old games and then enjoying the smoother frame rate and the faster load times. And of course, people modify their consoles all the time for next to nothing and get some fantastic and unique results. The question is though, what color PS5 controller and cover plates would you go for? Let me know in the comments. And also, if you've got any tips or favorite accessories that I haven't mentioned for the PS5, share them below as well. And don't forget to do what Cam said. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.